You ready to do this?
Let's go. Hey guys, it's Brina.
This is Tasha.
And this is Us on Reality. For this episode, we're going to be discussing Ready to Love, Season 7, Episode 11, Two Truths and a Lie. Have you ever played this game?
No.
Comment down below. Guys, let us know how many of you have played Two Truths and a Lie. It can be a good icebreaker, but it also can be revealing. I guess that's the whole point of an icebreaker.
Super revealing.
Yes. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We would love to hear what you guys think about what we think about. Okay, so let's see. This week it opened up with everybody still at the cabin, right?
Yeah.
And who finally gets sent home?
Oh my God. So excited. So happy that they left us with this raggedy cliffhanger, as though we did not know that they were going to be sending home Sue. Advocate Sue. Thank God. And what I don't understand is how come Blake did not just walk out with her. What are you standing here looking lost for? Like, oh, well, that sucks for you. No, leave too.
Blake, you know you don't have any other connections here. Like you said, go on, leave. I know we couldn't have been the only ones ready for Blake and Sue Ann to leave because that storyline was just getting tired and old.
I didn't even see it. Maybe you did. Did you see him tell her bye?
Yes, and it was really weird because she came over to him. So, you know, she looked shocked, but not really. I'm sure she saw that coming. And then she walked over to him and she was like, okay, bye. And then they kissed. But he looked like every time somebody's only connection leaves, they look confused. Like when, what was her name? Just like whenever Corvea left and Demario was looking confused.
And why are you looking confused? You were in the deliberation. You know who's going home. Why are we sitting there like, is it a shock to you as well as the person? No, you were there. You know what the person's about to say.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. What is the confusion? Oh, that was funny. Yeah, so I love though, after she was saying bye, there was a little quick span where you saw Jeffrey and she was kind of like, like, girl, get out of here. And then in the confessional, she was like, I wrote it down. She was like, yeah, everyone was being loving and supporting, but we all know it was bullshit.
Mercedes and Anthony had a talk. And Mercedes finally came to the realization that she wasn't able to give Anthony what she thinks he deserves. And so I think, you know, what we're starting to see now a lot with these final episodes, people are just wrapping it up, who they really want to go through the experience with. So I think that was a really good move.
Yeah. So next, Cynthia and Anthony were in the pool. I love their connection.
I do too. It just seems so natural. At first, I thought she was going to be too strong for him. But it works really well. And you know what? Who? Listen, at the beginning of the season, we didn't even know his name. And then he became Beard.
Right.
And now he's Anthony.
Now it's Anthony.
Yeah. And he's with our girl.
I know. I never saw them together. I wouldn't have put them two together. To feel comfortable with the guy, you have to feel safe and supported. Like, you know, you can trust him. And like, you know, let us hear down below in the comments how everybody else feels about that. But I really think that it is like, you want to feel support and safe. And then you can just be you. Yeah, her energy with Andre, it just feels different. Yeah.
And I think that she hasn't really said that. I think she knows that because you can just tell with her interactions with Anthony. I mean, even like this, when they both said that they weren't going to be kissing anybody until it was like the one. He's kissed Anthony. They kissed each other. And she was so funny. She said about the water like a dolphin.
Oh, I thought she said he came about that water like a model.
Is that what she said?
I had my caption on.
It said model. That's better. Because I was like, I thought it was funny. She said dolphin. But yeah, like a man haven't done that with Andre. And Andre's lips are all over Jeffrey anyway.
Next was Morgan and Lyndon.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Morgan's black dress. With that
dress.
whole half a butt cheek out. She was killing that dress.
Yes. Sis was wearing a dress. She was wearing that dress.
Was
okay, Morgan.
Murder.
Okay, Morgan.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, let me say this. I thought it was bizarre that she said she's worried about Lyndon's age. Like, I guess worried about his level of maturity because of his age. I don't really know like what her concern is with his age, because I don't know if he's not where she wants him to be financially or what. I don't know. But I was just thinking, if it was like maturity or stuff like that, Lyndon is leaps and bounds more mature than Tony, and he demonstrates it often. Mm-hmm. Tony is juvenile, and he showed it several times throughout this episode.
He did. He did.
Yeah, so you were talking about them playing pool. I liked their conversation. I thought Lyndon really like let her know how he was feeling, but he wasn't disrespectful.
Yes, he's never disrespectful. He's never, and he's just, I don't know, there's a compassion about him. Mm-hmm. Like he expresses how he feels, and he expresses it in such a, like, it seems an emotionally intelligent way. Mm-hmm. And it's so nice that he's caring about her feelings enough to where he's not wanting to make her feel like she's in between him and Tony. He's just wanting her, kind of just live and make choices as she feels fit. But he's also like making it known, like, hey, he's not the person for you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He's not sitting in there like Tony in past episodes, since Lyndon and Tony are still fighting for Morgan's heart. Tony in episodes, he'll say stuff like, you don't really like him, stop playing with him. Whereas Lyndon is just more direct, like, he's not a good guy for you, like, he's not good to you, like, you deserve better than that. And Morgan, for whatever reason, I feel like she keeps showing her hand too. Emotionally, Morgan is immature and she's juvenile, so maybe that's why she's entertained by Tony's theatrics.
Maybe. It probably is.
Lyndon said something. Oh, Lyndon was like, Tony makes you feel uncomfortable because he feels uncomfortable. And I'm like, how is everybody else able to read this man but Morgan?
Yeah. I don't know. She keeps saying like the heart wants what the heart wants, but it's your heart. You have to guard it too. I like to eat burgers and pizza. Should I say the stomach wants what the stomach wants and then look at my stomach and be mad? It doesn't make any sense.
You're not wrong about that. That's a great analogy.
Form of judgment.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's really easy to have blinders on when you really like somebody. But when you have all these people reflecting, like Tommy even did it, Cynthia keeps doing it, and now Lyndon's doing it. All these people are reflecting back to you the reality of this man's actions, and you're just like shutting it down. Like, I'm like, okay, now, Morgan, when this blows up in your face, because if they do leave this show together, it will. You can't be like, what happened, girl?
I can't wait for the reunion. I can't. I think that she's going to be upset that she let Lyndon go. I can't wait for the reunion. Tony being, so Morgan getting upset, right? And goes out to make her candle. She's out there crying. And then so she goes into the room to wipe her face, and Cynthia comes to comfort her. And she's telling her, like, again, she's like warning, pay attention to how someone treats you when they're upset, when they're mad. Yes. And so they're talking, And here comes Tony. Like he's just solidifying everything that Cynthia's saying. But I don't know. Heart wants what the heart wants.
I feel like in that instance, I feel like Morgan was already in the instance of when Morgan and Cynthia were in the room, like you were just saying, Cynthia was consoling her. I feel like Morgan was already tense. So when Tony just popped his head in the room, I felt like in that moment, his initial thing was, "Hey, are you okay?" But she was like, "What, Tony? What? I can't cry." And then he was, So I was like, "Well, is that why he came in there? Like, hold on, you know?"
Oh,
but then he just gave up, and then he did show his true Tony self. They had an attitude talking to Andre. And he was like, "Oh, she's gonna be crying over some other dude. You can just have him. I'll leave." So I was like, "Oh, there he is."
I was talking about when they were making these candles. I thought that was a really cute idea.
It was, yeah.
I really liked that. And so, what is that? I said, Jeffrey, girl. Okay, so let's talk. Don't do that, Lola. Don't drag your ass on my carpet.
So after the whole Tony and Morgan debacle and whatever, then they had the pajama party where they were going to hand out the candles. And Jeffrey's outfit, I feel like her boob popped out a little bit.
Did it?
Girl, I thought it did, girl. I said, "Oh, Jeffrey,
I was painting when this was on, so sometimes I was looking away. But oh my gosh. I noticed, I saw her do the spin around with them high boots on and that lacy top.
I didn't see the boots, girl. I was just like that. I was like, boobs out.
I don't know. Girl. And Morgan, was it Morgan? No, Cynthia. She was like, "I see Jeffrey came out here all sexy and stuff too, but that's okay. I know I'm sexy." Yeah, I was like, "Girl, you do." You sure do. So they passed out the candles. Who was the first to pass out the candles? I believe it was Jeffrey.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the biblical husband.
Biblical husband. Which was cute. She's so funny. She's like, the biblical husband. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we had, what do you remember who's next? I think it was Mark Anthony. Because I remember Mark Anthony gave his candle to Mercedes. And he was so mad.
Yes, that's right. Because I was just like, okay, so Jeffrey just gave one to Andre. And then, like you said, Mark Anthony. But I was like, I thought they were making it for their connections. But they all, except for Cynthia and Andre, made one candle.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, why is she mad? You just literally gave Andre a candle entitled Biblical Husband. So you kicked him out of the thing, but you are mad that he gave a candle to Mercedes.
Well, that's what she said before. She was like, my connections have connections, but that's okay because I play to win or something like that. And I was like, girl, you gonna win both of
them? Right. Like you can win both. We're not doing that. You're gonna get you one biblical husband and you're gonna move around. What? Yeah. You can't have a biblical husband and a pool boy. You can't do that.
I mean,
because that's what Mark Anthony would be.
That's what he would be. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So Mark Anthony gives his to Mercedes, and then Mercedes turns and gives hers to Mark Anthony. And then Anthony gives one to Cynthia, and it's really sweet. And I didn't write it down, but what he said his candle meant for her, I loved. And then she was like, his was like, she put purple in it because it's like royalty or something like that. And I was like,
prosperity. And she put like, coffee.
Yeah.
I wanted to wake up to him every morning.
Right. I want to wake up to you every morning. And I was just like, okay, so we just letting everybody know. But then she turns and gives one to Andre.
Yeah.
But what she said about Andre, I thought it was a really great description of him and how she felt towards him. But the fact that she said to Anthony, I want to wake up with you every morning, I was like, you didn't just let Andre know he's not it. And then Anthony, of course, was looking at her sideways.
I didn't know we was making 2 candles. And let me go make another candle. Who are you making another candle for?
Right.
You and Mercedes already had a conversation.
Yeah, you have nobody else. Stop it.
No, you're just being petty.
Yes. And then Andre, I love that Andre returned one to Cynthia. I thought that was really sweet. And then he also like honored Jeffrey. And I thought it was really nice that he like reciprocated before moving on to Jeffrey. I just liked how he did that. I thought it was kind.
Yeah, he is kind. I like Andre.
And then Lyndon tries to give one to Morgan. And for some reason, she was like, I just want to pick it. Morgan seems like a sweet woman, but she's just very childish. And it just keeps showing in so many different ways to me.
Well, but I really like Lyndon's description of his candle for her. I gave me one with 2 wicks. Just light one of them.
He said, because you have 2 flames.
Yeah, because you have 2 flames.
And then who was absent from all of this?
He was asleep.
And he was so mad that he decided to not come.
Well, and then she said the candle he made had a bug in it. Girl, if this ain't foreshadowing of your life, listen to the cues. Don't be sitting on the reunion show crying on the couch. Wishing
she's going to be. She's going to be.
I know.
Because even though Cynthia keeps saying, pay attention how somebody treats you, even though he keeps getting an attitude with you because you're trying to figure it out, and then doesn't fight for you, it's just rude and disrespectful. And then the only time he's nice is when no one else is around and you corner and ask him, and he's verbally telling you who he is, but he's not showing you that person. Morgan, that is a problem.
Yeah. And on top of that, what he said about Marcia, even angry or not, but then you had the nerve to mention her again later in the episode. He thought that she was going to show up at the, look, are you checking for her or not?
Yeah.
People do stuff on shows like this, like they don't think the person that they're like talking to or coupled with is ever going to watch the show.
Yeah.
Watch your mouth.
I don't think Tony thinks it's a problem. He's a man. You know, it's just man speak.
Well, then after the whole candle thing, Tony and Morgan had a conversation in her bedroom. And she was asking him, why should she pick him? And he was telling her all the most basic things that you would want in a partner, that he's like supportive, he's a provider. And it's just like, I need more than that. She can obviously provide for herself. But you haven't shown support. Where's the support? I don't understand. So, but anyway, she ate all of it. She drank all the Kool-Aid, and she's absolutely fine with where everything is.
Yeah.
At this point. I just feel like it doesn't matter what he does. She just is blinded by him. So whatever it is, she's going to be okay with it in the long run. She's just going to accept it.
Yeah. Because like you said earlier, and like she kept saying throughout this whole episode, the heart wants what the heart wants. So she just keeps making excuses. And I just think, Morgan, how many times have you followed your heart before? And you've been in a lot of busted relationships. Even like that's your own testimony about your past relationship. So why do you think this is okay to keep following that?
Yeah. And obviously your heart don't know what it wants, because we haven't even ever been in love before. Maybe we shouldn't listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should try to put a little logic with it, you know.
I think that Morgan, she strikes me as someone that feels that, you know how some people think like when you fall in love, it's supposed to be like this huge sweeping event and like fall off your feet and like knock you off your feet, all this stuff. I feel like that's what she's doing and that's what she's looking for. But she's also trying to control everything. So you can't really get swept off your feet if you're trying to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so after Tony and Morgan's conversation, we actually see the meetup of Tommy and Blake. And so there's not much to talk about here. It should have been done already. Goodbye. Okay. So then we have Mercedes, Mark Anthony, they had a date. And this is when Mark Anthony, no, this is when Mercedes lets Mark Anthony know that she had a conversation with Anthony pretty much, and she's completely focused on him.
mm-hmm.
I think that they should have been that way from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, he said himself, he didn't want to date a woman with kids. That's his own, you know, choice. He's young. He can make that choice if he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Jeffrey is a grown woman with 3 kids. Actually, you know what? I think they said Jeffrey's like 31.
Oh, I don't know. I know we have it in here, but this is the thing. This is the day when Mercedes let Mark Anthony know she was all in on him. But then when they left, in a little confessional thing, Mark Anthony said, I'm something about I'm leaning in real hard to Mercedes or something like that. And he was like, but I'm still drifting somewhat to Jeffrey. So he was trying to make it seem like he was still torn too. But girl, please, we know it's Mercedes for him.
So now we have the ladies' lounge.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy tells all of the ladies first thing that Blake has eliminated himself from the competition. And Jeffrey, in that confessional, she says, we all know that Blake eliminated himself. It's just a cop out. And I was like, you know what, Jeffrey, I am down for all your snide comments. I love them. But how is this a cop out? He has no other connections. Like, he should have walked out with Sue Ann. So this is actually the one legitimate thing that he did that he should have been, because you don't have and nobody here else cares for you. The only person saving you from elimination is gone.
Well, see, yeah. I feel like him leaving now, though, on his own choice and not waiting for them to vote him off, because clearly that's what would have happened, kind of puts the rest of them in a bind, because everybody else that was still here, they were trying to figure out, who do I want to be with? Is it this person or that person? And so I feel like him deciding to eliminate himself now puts Morgan to where she had to make a choice.
They're going around talking about who they would like to put up for elimination, who they don't have a connection with. So,
right.
Cynthia brings up Tony, and Tommy then asks Morgan about her and Tony's relationship. And he asks her, what are any red flags that you see? And she starts counting.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very happy that Cynthia put that all on Front Street, and that Tommy was like, girl.
And then he was like, and what about Lyndon? And she had nothing but good things to say about Lyndon. She was like, the Lyndon that I thought I saw at the mixer came to full fruition on this weekend. And Tommy was like, do you see how much passion you have talking about this man? And then she says, yeah, I know. But then she still ends up taking Lyndon out on a date to get rid of him.
She said, yeah, I know, but the heart wants what the heart wants. She did. And yeah, and she took Lyndon out and she got rid of him. That was a mistake.
She obviously still cares for him, still wants to explore it, because then, this is now the chance I'm going to kiss you.
Right. That's what I was going to say. They finally had their kiss.
This poor thing. She don't know what she wants.
She don't. But she's going to figure it out the hard way.
So as Morgan and Lyndon were wrapping up their date before the kiss and all that, I really appreciated that Lyndon let her know. Like, he was just honest. He was like, Morgan said, do you think you're the guy for me? And Lyndon said, honestly, no, Morgan. I didn't see myself coming on this show or on this process being ready to get married in 2 years. And he was like, and I don't know you well enough to consider having kids with you. And I was just like, you're worried about Lyndon's age? This right here is maturity.
Yes.
You're not going to hear nothing like that from Tony. You're not.
I'm a provider. I'm a protector.
I love what you said about he gave the bare minimum of what a partner should give in a relationship. One of my girlfriends said this to me a few weeks ago. The bar for being a good guy has gotten so low. It's like the bare minimum. I'm a provider. I'm going to support you. That's stuff that you should be doing. Like, why is someone, oh, he's a good guy, he's going to be there for me? That should be something that's a win if you're trying to enter into a relationship.
Oh, you're saying like being out in the world dating right now, like that's just what the guys think is good? That's awful.
That's what I mean, yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And as grown as he is.
Yeah, Tony's like 41, right?
Yeah. It's sad that he doesn't know that it takes a little bit more than that.
Well, again, this is something else to me that just highlights that him and Morgan probably are actually suited for each other because their emotional maturity is about the same level to where she thinks that's a good thing and he thinks it's a good thing to offer. And they don't both see further or past that. It just shows you haven't at least gotten the bare minimum or no one's ever expected more of you. And you felt like, man, I really want to grow up and meet this person there to where like they haven't grown. So that was the end of this episode. What's up?
One thing she said at the end of that, when she let Lyndon go, she said, if I would have been 33, it would have been different. Girl, you 38. 5 years in the grand scheme of life is nothing for happiness that you could get from Lyndon versus Tony.
Especially if it's a better man. I just feel like, okay, you may be a little bit older by the time you have kids, and I understand why she's hesitant to do that. But at least you'd have a partner that will not bring you down mentally. Because trying to have kids on top of that mental stress. So it's like, or have someone that says they're ready to give you kids now, and they're not. And then you guys are struggling.
I think that Tony would just really like to sleep with Morgan.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. This is the end of the episode. We just want to say, please like, subscribe, and comment. And we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.